Hello, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to give you a little garden tour update for what's growing here in the Minneapolis area in the last week of June, first week of July, 2021. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna start here on my front porch. I had originally thought I would do a front porch, a separate video, but I just don't have time. So I thought I'd go ahead and show you what I've done on the porch this year. I have kind of pared it down this year. I just had a lot going on. We had a grad party for my son and I was kind of conserving money, because potted plants can be expensive. So I was kind of conserving money for the party. So I went with petunias, wave petunias in 2 different colors, and then some accent plants, and then pink geraniums. So that's mostly what I did on the porch. And they're really doing well. They are thriving. I love this, and I cannot remember what it's called. It was just in the little accent plant section of Ace Hardware, and it's just gorgeous. It's a succulent. I'm pretty sure if I took a piece of that and stuck it in another pot, I bet it would grow, because it just feels like that kind of plant. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll stick a piece over there and we can see if we can get it to grow. So I forget what this is called. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at remembering. Oh, here we go. I saved the tag to this one. This is White Delight Annual. So that reminded me of little tiny daisies. So that's why I put that in there. I love daisies. And over here, I just have an old shutter that I got from a thrift store for $1.99. And I didn't do anything to it other than just stick a wreath on it, because I like how the paint is a little crackly. And yeah, so I just wanted to stand that there. I've got this sign. I've had it for years. This sign, I've had it for years. This was a thrift store pickup recently in the last 6 months. And it was already painted. Apparently it's made by Southern Living. And I've just set some geraniums in it. I love geraniums here on the front porch because right now it's shady, but in the afternoon, this is the hottest part of the house. And the sun that these flowers get, it bakes them. So geraniums and petunias are great because they can stand up to the heat. I do, on the 90-degree days we've been having, I've had to water twice a day, but today's not so bad. I haven't watered yet today because I just kind of wanted the flowers to be dry and fluffy. Sometimes when you water them, they get kind of squished looking, and then you have to wait for them to dry again. So I didn't water yet today. And then up here, just some more of the same. I need to deadhead. So this is what I do with the geraniums. I just kind of go in down to the stem and pull off the dead ones. And that's it. So these are actually all dead, and then they won't waste time making seeds. They'll go ahead and make new flowers, which is what we want. I probably should have deadheaded these a week ago, but with the party, everything's gotten a little ahead of me. There's my new mat. You might have seen it in a vlog, which I can link above. That's my wreath I've had for a few years. All my geraniums are kind of finishing right now. They'll put up more flowers, but they're not really blooming right now. And this you might have seen on my other channel. I found this little mushroom. It's like a marble mushroom at the Goodwill bin. So I just stuck it in that pot there because these flowers haven't filled in the way they normally do in that. So, and this plant, this one cracks me up because you see the bright color. And I always think of a sign, in a field of baby pink, be fluorescent or something like that, because I got a fluorescent one by accident. So I stuck it in this pot so it could kind of be alone and do its own thing here. So that is the porch, and we do use this porch a lot. We sit out here on the step a lot, sometimes in the chair. We also, over here, which I can't show you right now, we have a little patio set. There it is. Little patio set and an umbrella, because we use this kind of as a patio because we don't park our cars in the garage, because that's where Hannah's dance space has been for the last year because of the pandemic. So we just kind of got used to having that as another space. So we use the top of the driveway more as a patio. And then here's this pot. Same flowers. And I like to do that. I like to kind of carry the theme so it all kind of works together and flows. together. So here's all those plants I planted. They're doing really well. I think someone told me this is cranesbill. And my lilies are blooming. I'll be able to show you the red ones. So my hosta is doing great. Remember I told you it was wilting because it was in shock, but now it's looking much better over there. I got to cut off the leaves that had browned before it got planted. This is June. I think I've told you that in another video. This is my favorite hosta. I love the variegated leaves, and if you plant it more in the sun, it gets more yellows, and if you plant it in a shadier spot, it gets more blue. So, and you can kind of see here, this leaf is kind of blocked from the sun, and you can see that it has more of the blue and green, whereas this has more of the, like the yellow and the white. So I just think that it's a really neat plant, the way that it adapts with the light conditions. And I'm happy to film this week because I don't generally love the flowers on hostas, but I do love the flowers on this hosta because they're this dark purple up against the light green in the leaves. And I don't know what this is. Someone gave this to me. So I don't know the type of hosta, but I do love it. And it's like a mini. And then there's more leaves. I had broken off a piece, so I just stuck that in the ground. I think that was last year, and it's doing well. And then the heuchera is doing well. That just got planted. No blooms on my that hydrangea this year, which is kind of strange. Not sure why it's not blooming, but. And then here's the red lilies I was telling you about. These are yellow in the center. Those have already bloomed, but these are red. I think they're gorgeous. Here's this side of the garden. These are still blooming, so that's kind of what those in the center look like. And this hydrangea is doing great. This started as one stick. I bought it at a garden center about 4 years ago, and now it's grown into an actual shrub, so that's exciting. And the catmint is doing its thing. That's a no-fail kind of plant. And you can see over here how hot this side of the house gets, like no shade during the day. So that's why I have just really easy care plants. So these are hostas that just don't care where they are. And the catmint again. And I did plant some lilies this year, so these do not really have roots yet, which is why they're looking a little hot and tired, but I think they'll be okay once they get a bit of a root system. Okay, so the strawberries are finished. I'm kind of letting the lettuce go. I am gonna take the shade, I had the shade cloth over the garden while the peas and the lettuce finished up, but they're kind of done now. So I am gonna take that down so that the zucchini, which is over there, can get more sun, and the beans. The beans have started to climb. I'm just gonna let them climb up the fence here. Why not? I was gonna put I tried to put a stick in there. It didn't want to climb on there. Found its way over here. So I'm like, you know what? That's fine. You do your thing. So I'm gonna take this down later today. We did make, my mother-in-law, while she was here, made strawberry rhubarb bars or bake. Oh, what was it? I don't really remember. Crisp. It was delicious. Whatever it was, but we used most of our rhubarb up. So that's done. Strawberries are done. Lilacs are done. This is my lovely hanging plant. I got 2 of these this year. Love this thing. It's no fail. And you can just break pieces off and stick them in other pots. And I'll actually show you on the other side of the house where I did that. And this is like bridal veil or something. So I really just didn't want, flower pot hanging pots are hard to manage sometimes. So I went with easy care this year. Here are my herbs. Sorry, there's a little paint on the rocks I need to deal with. That's from our big deck painting project. But so these are my herbs. That's parsley, oregano, and lemon balm. So parsley's looking great. I think this is the oregano. Let me smell. Yeah, that's the oregano. So that's kind of the most behind. Lemon balm is looking amazing. I think you can do a tea out of that. The mock orange are done. Except, oh, there's one little late bloomer here. Smells so good. I wish you could smell that. Kind of like a rose. Looks like there might be some bug damage happening here. Not sure. I've never done mock orange, so I don't know a lot about them. This is a pot that just kind of got the extras. These are irises I couldn't seem to get to grow anywhere else are now growing here. And then these were just like leftover from the other pots. So some dianthus, portulacas, and one lonely little petunia. This is not a wave petunia, so I will have to cut this back because see how it gets leggy? So eventually I'll cut that back. I need to fertilize this. My plants are growing, but they're not blooming. So I need to put some bloom booster on my dish garden. So I'll do that this week, and hopefully maybe by next week we'll have more flowers. The cone flowers are looking great. Nothing in bloom yet, but they're getting there. And there's my little lily. Remember I said I was going to let that bloom and then I'm going to move it. So I'm going to move it out from the evening primrose, which I found out is actually an English herb. Look at that. I have an English herb in my garden. These are pincushion flowers blooming. Oh, look. One little daylily found its way in the midst of all the asters. The asters look a little sick this year. Not sure what that's about. The bee balm has started to bloom. It's kind of a funky flower. That's bee balm. There's my little birdie fountain, which they absolutely love. Highly recommend doing this. I just got a bowl from Goodwill, filled about half of it with glass and marbles, you know, from the Dollar Tree. Put a solar fountain from Amazon. Boom. It's a lovely little bird bath, and it doesn't get as mucky because the water moves a lot. This is our false spirea we just planted, and it's blooming. I didn't know it gets flowers. It does get ants on the flowers, which I'm not loving, but you know, it's part of nature, I guess. Just like peonies. And then this I just planted, but remember I told you I planted it right as the heat wave hit. So now it is getting new growth, which is nice. So the part that got really fried now has new growth. This is Albert. Uh-oh, Albert's getting squished by the hose. That's not good. Sorry, Albert. That's our tree we planted on Mother's Day. He seems to have survived the heat. He lost some needles, but he's getting new needles, so that's good. This was originally in the front, and it was just too hot for it. So last year I moved it. Didn't get too many blooms last year because I moved it in the spring, but this year it's doing great. And then this is the pot. This is where all my leftovers went, where we just like kind of stuck random stuff. This is like a columbine from the garden. I didn't know what to do with, so I just stuck it there. Dead nettle, didn't know what to do with that. These are pieces of, I literally didn't do anything but stick them in here. And you can see they're growing now. They have a new growth. And so the petunia I bought and didn't know what to do with, so. Here's the other of those hanging plants. It's a little yellow. I might have overwatered it. Probably won't. I won't hit it with the hose the next few times I bring the hose out. Just let it be. These have not bloomed yet. They're a little later than the others because they don't get quite as much sun. And then I still need to plant these clematis. Haven't done that yet. Okay, so this is a new window box. It's not doing much yet. We literally just planted it for the grad party, and then it rained. But it hasn't had a chance to really grow yet. And then the girls each designed a pot. This is Hannah's pot. So it's looking good. I forget what flower she said that gets, but it's not in bloom yet. Don't mind the coolers. They are drying out from the grad party, but so this is one. I always plant portulacas because my mother loved them. They were her favorite flower. So every year I make sure I plant portulacas. And then over here, I thought this was really different. It's like a variegated verbena flower. I love verbena, but I've never seen that one before, so I thought that was kind of neat. My pillows are falling down. That's the window that's getting replaced. But this is just a little seating area. It's great. I love to come out here with my coffee. This is the pot that Molly designed, and more of that plant that I love. And this one's kind of taking over. Look how different these are. Those are really neat. Her lantana usually gets bigger, so I have a feeling this might be stunting it. Not sure what's going on, why the lantana isn't bigger yet. I might need to fertilize. Probably do that this week. And Maddie's pots. So Maddie designed these, this and this, and they're doing really well. She liked this because it's called a candy corn zinnia. More of the portulacas. Here's just a little area with another bird bath that I put together. And these are from seed. These are marigolds, and I think they're going to be red and yellow. So they were kind of neat looking, so that's why I decided to try to grow them. I don't see no buds yet. Maybe next week. And then I just like to stack my leftover terracotta pots because they just look cool. And then over here is my one tomato plant. The family does not eat tomatoes, so I'm trying something new. I watch a guy called M.I. Gardner, and he grows really tall tomato plants, and he said that that helps with not getting black spot, because my tomato plants get spotted blight, whatever you want to call it, every single year. So the idea is that you pretty much take the leaves off and you just let it go high until it gets to the top, and then you let it leaf out, and that promotes much better airflow. So I need to tie this here and decide what's going to happen with this. I'll probably take this one off, I'm thinking, although it's kind of vining. I don't know. We'll see what I decide to do, which ones I leave, and I'll keep you posted, because I seriously get the tomato blight every single year. So I'm hoping that maybe this will actually help. I don't know, and you got to keep the little suckers from coming back. But he has his like 6 feet tall. So apparently if you put a taller stake in, you can get them to grow even higher. So this also just got planted. So it has drainage holes in it. So hopefully that will fill in. Oh, and this is my spinach, which I'm kind of keeping hidden from the sun. So. And that is the garden this week. Hope you enjoyed this little tour, and I'll see you next time. Bye.